Okay, so even though the uh, dash is not showing me that there's a problem with the battery, earlier it showed me there was a problem, and I know that the auxiliary battery that I tested at the front of the car, that showed lower than 12 volts. I think it showed 9.95 volts or something. But I'm trying to check now with the scanner if the scanner can tell me uh, for sure if it's the auxiliary battery. So I'm connecting the scanner now, and I found the option to test uh, to run a scan to check the battery. So here if I check voltage, this does not show me that it's the auxiliary battery that's bad. It just shows me the voltage, which is probably just the main battery voltage. If I'm using the scanner by iCarsoft. Okay, so I go back here and I go to diagnostics and I select the car, which is a Mercedes Benz. I select the version 32, which I'm not sure what that means. It's probably the version of the software or the diagnostics. And now there's takes a few minutes I think to query the car, and then it needs to know the VIN number of the car, but it can read that. It can automatically read that. So I select VIN number and I select read, so it can read the VIN number automatically. And it read the VIN number, and to continue I just press F1 for OK. Then it's asking me the year of the car. It's a 2004, so I choose that, and it brings out the chassis and everything about the car including the VIN number, and then I click F1 for OK. Okay, now here there's different kinds of tests. There's a quick test, auto scan, control unit, and service. So I'm going to use auto scan because it'll figure out all the different electronics that's in the car and anything that can be checked. This will take quite a while, but it'll also give me a comprehensive list of everything that's on this car. So I'm going to choose this and let's go. It's asked me to turn the ignition on. I assume this means I also have to start the engine, and the engine is already on, so I press F1 for OK to start the scan, and here goes. So it tells me everything that the car is fitted with, and the car makes all these weird clicking sounds as it's going through this. It's probably, I don't know, activating certain relays and things like that. So and the number it shows 7 of 7 is probably the items it has found in the car so far, but it is checking for everything. So battery control module, so I'm assuming the battery control module will tell us where any problem might be, and if the problems with the main battery or the auxiliary battery. And it's showing this message also on the screen called diagnose. So that's interesting. Okay, so it's finished going through all of them. It looks like there were 28 components or control systems in the car, but the one that we are particularly interested in is the battery control system. So we go down to that item. There we go, and that's the battery control system. So if we select that to perform the tests that are in the battery control system. So when we try that, there is a module information which just tells us the version of software or whatever, what have you. So this battery control system is by Bosch. That's the part number, software status, and hardware status. So it tells us that, and then we press F1 for escape. And now let's try the read fault code, because that will probably tell us the faults that pertain to the battery. So we choose that, and it's reading the fault code, and sure enough it says component G1/7 auxiliary battery is defective or not installed. It's giving us a code 9092, and this is only one of 5 codes. So let's see what the other codes are. The one is 9050. It says historic consumer shut off stage 2. I'm not sure what that means. It doesn't say anything about an auxiliary battery there. Then this one, it says under voltage, and it's code 9040. This is historic, and its terminal 30 is under voltage for the battery. Then we go to the next one, which is code 9055. This is also historic. The terminal 61 signal on the CAN bus is missing or is faulty. I'm not sure what that is, but it doesn't say anything about an auxiliary battery. The other one is 9090. This is also historic. This mentions the auxiliary battery. The contact of component K57/2 auxiliary battery relay does not open. Okay, so that's about it for here. These are all the various codes, and some of them it does mention the auxiliary battery, so that's good. Then we go back, and there's also a thing called view data. So if we view data, there's two things we can view. One is the actual values for the additional battery and the actual values in 82 in the battery control module. So let's try the first one first. And here it's showing the voltage, which is less than 12 volts. This is the running live voltage, 10.44 volts. Number of auxiliary battery recharge operations. That's nice. So it shows it's been recharged and how many times. 10,226 times. Kilometer reading when the auxiliary battery was recharged last. I guess it doesn't show it in miles. It shows it in kilometers. 233,548 kilometers, and the current reading is at 145,117 miles. So, okay, number of auxiliary battery activations due to emergency running mode, 24 times. And kilometer reading during most recent emergency operation, which is at 225,843 kilometers. And in terms of miles, I don't know how much that is, but the current miles is 145,117. So that's what it shows us for the voltage, which is definitely low. I can plot these on a graph, but I don't need to do that. Okay, so we go back, and the actual values at the battery control module. So let's try that, and it just shows me 3 pieces of data. Terminal 30 is showing 14 volts. This is probably the main battery, I'm guessing, because the main battery seems fine. Temperature N82, battery control module. So it's at 30 degrees the temperature, and the charging current is at 2, varying between 1 and 2 amps. I guess this depends on the load on the battery. So we go back, this seems okay, and then I think we try this again. Yeah, so it's definitely showing it's the auxiliary battery system. Now it's showing a fault on the battery control module, probably related to the auxiliary battery, showing 5 faults. And just out of curiosity, I wonder if what happens if we do a system diagnosis. So let's do module information. The supplier is video of the system diagnosis. We go back, press F1 to go back, and let's read the fault codes for the system diagnosis, just out of curiosity. Yeah, so there's no fault codes in the system. And this view data. This just shows data at different points in the system, I guess. So let's see if there's something for the battery. Yeah, there is a battery control module, and we choose that, I guess, by pressing enter. It puts sort of like a V or a tick mark, and then we press F1 for done. So battery control module, it shows, I'm not sure what the W is, but it shows 78, and we can put that on a waveform. Max 78 and min 78. I'm not sure what the 78 is, but anyways. So that's that. Now the other thing, we're gonna exit this, but the other thing we can check are the OBD2 codes. So let's go back there. Let's check. I don't think a battery gives any OBD2 codes, but let's try that out. And it's been a while since I've run OBD2 scanning on this. Also, there's a check engine light, so it should show the codes related to lean. Essentially, I think I have either a leak in my air intake, so it might show. It's showing that the mill is on. That's the check engine code, and 2 codes are found. And I'm guessing that these are basically related to the intake, but it's best to confirm. There should be lean codes like starting with P. So let's say read codes. To lean, so it's P0171 as I guessed, and the other one is for bank 2. I'm guessing the other one is for bank 2. Yes, so these codes are still there. That's a different problem that I have to take care of in the car. So I think that's about it for this video, and now I'm going to essentially replace the auxiliary battery and make sure that the codes don't keep coming back. And also that this red warning dash light goes away. So that's the next thing I'll be doing.